तो दोस्तों स्वागत है आप सबका रियल एस्टेट गेम चेंजर की सीरीज में। और आज हमारे साथ एक बहुत ही खास पर्सनालिटी कोलकाता से, वेस्ट बंगाल से। हाँ दोस्तों, आज मैं आपको मिलाने वाला हूँ एक ऐसी खास पर्सनालिटी से, एक ऐसी शख्सियत जो रियल एस्टेट में बहुत बड़ा नाम रखते हैं, स्पेशली वेस्ट बंगाल कोलकाता में। और जिनसे मैं आपको मिलाने वाला हूँ व्यक्ति है पीएस ग्रुप कोलकाता के डायरेक्टर प्रशांत चोपड़ा जी। प्रशांत जी, स्वागत है आपका रियल एस्टेट गेम चेंजर इस सीरीज में। जैसा मैंने आपको बताया, पीएस ग्रुप कोलकाता वेस्ट बंगाल से 30+ इयर्स का एक्सपीरियंस है, 140+ कंप्लीटेड प्रोजेक्ट्स है, 20+ ऑनगोइंग प्रोजेक्ट्स है, 15+ ग्रीन बिल्डिंग अंडर कंस्ट्रक्शन दोस्तों चल रही है, 100+ जॉइंट वेंचर का ग्रुप कंप्लीट कर चुका है। और अगर मैं अवार्ड की बात करूं तो 110 से भी ज्यादा, हाँ आपने बहुत ठीक सुना, 110 से भी ज्यादा अवार्ड इस ग्रुप को मिल चुके हैं। इंटरनेशनल प्रॉपर्टी अवार्ड एशिया पैसिफिक 2012, रियलिटी अवार्ड बाय क्रेडा बंगाल 2014, एबीपी न्यूज रियल एस्टेट अवार्ड in 2015, the Economic Times Real Estate Award 2021 East Excellence in Customer Service। इतने सारे अवार्ड से ग्रुप जीत चुका है। और इनके डायरेक्टर आज हमारे साथ है प्रशांत चोपड़ा जी, जो आपको बहुत सारी प्रैक्टिकल बातें इनके ग्रुप से रिलेटेड, इनके काम से रिलेटेड बताने वाले हैं। तो इस वीडियो को एंड तक जरूर देखिए। मैं फिर से एक बार स्वागत करता हूँ प्रशांत चोपड़ा जी आपका, और इस रियल एस्टेट इंटरव्यू को शुरू करते हैं। Thank you so much. So my first question to you, which our audience wants to know, बहुत उत्साहित होती है हमारी ऑडियंस ये जानने के लिए कि how a real estate CEO or a director comes or completes his journey. We want to know about your school life, your college life, and how you entered into real estate. Please tell to our audience.
Good afternoon. The journey, of course, started quite a long time back. The journey started with my dad, maybe about 35 years back, when he thought that, when he saw the movie Deewar, and he really thought that let me do something in real estate. So that was his inspiration. Of course, my inspiration has always been my dad. So when they were doing the first project, I remember, of course, I was maybe 3-4 year old maybe, but of course I've heard a lot of stories from him about it. एक डील पापा के पास आई, पापा ने कहा कि वेरी प्रॉफिटेबल डील है, सो ही वेंट टू समबडी टू शो द डील। द जेंटलमैन टोल्ड हिम कि भैया तुमने साइन किया है नहीं किया डील? तो पापा ने कहा कि नहीं मैंने साइन नहीं किया। तो बोले कि पहले जाके साइन करो उस डील को, उसके बाद डील लेके आना, नहीं तो ये डील चली जाएगी, इस टाइप की डील मिलती नहीं है कैलकाटा। So of course the point that I'm trying to make is that you must have the right kind of people, that you can bounce off your ideas, you can bounce off certain things, and they should so that you know that you don't go wrong in certain things. If you have the right kind of partners, or you have the right kind of people who will advise you in certain aspects of the business, you must go to them. And there are a lot of people in the world who want you to succeed. So you must have a lot of advisors, etc. But of course, the journey, of course, started there. Of course, then we did one project, then 2 projects, then couple of more projects, etc. That time, हमारी छोटी सी ऑफिस थी, हमारी 1000 square feet की ऑफिस थी उस टाइम। हम लोग 5-7 जन पापा के साथ बैठते थे वहाँ पे। But of course, now, of course, my journey, of course, started when I finished college. I wanted to work somewhere else, so I, of course, wanted to work in a bank. So I started my journey working in a bank. But then I went to SPJN, and then I thought, of course, the natural progression of business for an individual has to be when you, of course, want to get into your own family business. So that is when we started. Of course, I was looking at one project, but as soon as I completed my MBA, I thought, can I start something somewhere else? So I went to Chennai there, and of course, we started real estate in Chennai. And of course, I was in Chennai for 10-15 years or 12 years maybe. वहाँ पे हमने कई projects किए, एक shopping mall बनाया, कुछ residential projects बनाए. The experience so I was even though I was a second degree entrepreneur, but in Chennai, you know, everything is new. You're starting afresh. Of course, you might have a little bit of capital that we wanted to invest in that city, but at the end of the day, of course, अगर लैंडलॉर्ड से बात करना है, या गवर्नमेंट में बात करना है, या पुलिस से बात करना है, because all these problems, of course, comes in real estate. So that journey was fantastic in my mind. Of course, जब shopping mall बनाए, तो when you were talking to these lessees, I'm talking about maybe 2005 or 6. That time, everybody, the real estate sector was quite hot. Retail was very hot that time. So we started in Chennai, then we went to Coimbatore. We did a couple of projects in Coimbatore per se. But then, at the heart of real estate, what I've understood is your home ground is where your success can be very, very quick. because
Right.
your brand is known already. People have already known you for delivering products on time, quality, etc., etc. So of course decided that, and of course I also got married in between. I had a daughter, so of course naturally you want your daughter to also be near your grandparents.
Right.
So that was more of a journey in terms of to really come back. Then of course by that time we had grown to a much larger organization here in Calcutta. And I've been here in Calcutta for the past 10 years, and of course the journey has been phenomenal. Lots of deals that have come, lots of opportunities have come. We have done a lot of projects right now. Currently we are doing about 50 lakh square feet, which is under construction right now. We have about 20 projects that are running right now, from commercial to residential to retail maybe.
सुपर थैंक यू सो मच एंड आई वांट टू टेल माय ऑडियंस, दोस्तों इस बात को समझिए कितना सही इन्होंने पूरा बताया इनकी जर्नी के बारे में। और उससे भी इंपॉर्टेंट था कि एक दीवार मूवी को देखकर इनके फादर को लगा कि कुछ कंस्ट्रक्शन सेक्टर में बड़ा करना चाहिए, एंड देन दे हैव स्टार्टेड विद दिस कॉन्सेप्ट। तो मूवी से बहुत कुछ अच्छा भी हो सकता है। ये बहुत बड़ा एक एग्जांपल है हमारे देश में कि अगर आप मूवी को किस तरह से लेते हैं, उससे क्या मैसेज सीखते हैं और फिर आप उस पर इंप्लीमेंटेशन कैसे करते हैं। एंड सर ने ऑलरेडी इन्फॉर्म कर दिया कि 50 लाख स्क्वायर फीट से भी ज्यादा का अंडरगोइंग कंस्ट्रक्शन काम चल रहा है, विच इज अ ह्यूज थिंग। तो मैं आपको ये बताना चाहूंगा कि इट्स when you talk about real estate industry, when you talk about building something, 50 लाख स्क्वायर फीट का काम चलना इज अ वेरी ह्यूज थिंग। अब आगे बढ़ेंगे, बात करेंगे वैसे ग्रुप के बारे में भी सर ने बहुत कुछ हमें बता दिया कि कैसे अभी काम चल रहा है, क्या हो रहा है, लेकिन फिर भी थोड़ा डिटेल में मैं जानना चाहूंगा। आवर ऑडियंस वांट टू नो बिकॉज वट एवर रिसर्च वी हैव डन इज ऑन योर वेबसाइट, ऑन योर प्रोजेक्ट्स, वी हैव सीन योर 3D programs and all the things what is given on your website and the customer reviews, your Facebook page. But we want to know what is exactly PS Group is doing, what are your future projects. In detail, we want to know about the working of PS Group. So can you please explain that?
So, the vision of the organization right now is to be the most trusted developer in the world.
Okay.
Trust comes from a lot of factors. Trust comes from whatever you promise to your customer, whether you're delivering or over-delivering. Whatever you're promising in terms of timelines, are you maintaining that timeline? Whatever rate you've sold, are you maintaining that rate, etc., etc. Whatever quality you promised, are you delivering that quality or better quality? At the end of the day, हम लोगों को ये लगता है कि एक customer जो has a good experience in his life will always tell a lot more people कि अगर आज के दिन में कोई भी, मुझे ये लगता है कि कैलकाटा में अगर कोई रियल एस्टेट या कोई फ्लैट या कोई कमर्शियल प्रॉपर्टी खरीदना चाहेगा और वो 2-3 जन से इंक्वायर करेगा तो हमारे ब्रांड का नाम जरूर सामने आएगा, और वो ब्रांड का नाम आने से वो हम लोग को जरूर फोन करेगा। सो इट इज प्रैक्टिकली अ ब्रांड पुल दैट हैज बीन क्रिएटेड, बिकॉज एट द एंड ऑफ द डे हमारे आज के दिन में समझिए 15,000 से 20,000 कस्टमर को हमने आज तक पिछले 35 साल में वी हैव डिलीवर्ड, वेदर कमर्शियल, रेजिडेंशियल, एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा। आज के दिन दैट नंबर इज अ ह्यूज नंबर, एंड टुडे our 30% of whatever we build is all sold by referrals, which is a huge number in my mind, because people are referring us, and that is the reason I think that we've been successful, and that is the reason also we have been able to, पहले हम लोग 5 लाख करते थे, 10 लाख करते, आज के दिन में 50 लाख स्क्वायर फीट कैलकाटा मार्केट maybe is not, maybe I feel that maybe it's not as big as a Bombay market, but 50 lakh square feet फिर भी I think is quite a large number.
It's a huge number, right?
But going of course forward, the idea of course is to build spaces where we feel that every customer will get a lot of family time. That is also our motto. So we want to, in design, we want to create spaces where people can have a lot of family time together with their family, etc. So हम लोग कोई भी चीज डिजाइन करते हैं आज के दिन में, तो हम लोग ये एस्पेक्ट को जरूर सोचते हैं कि if there are aged people, वो कहाँ बैठेंगे, उनको कैसे, वो how they will spend time, और childrens if they are there, what they will do, etc. Of course projects भी आजकल बड़े हो गए हैं। पहले जो प्रोजेक्ट बनते थे वो एक इंडिविजुअल सिंगल टावर काइंड ऑफ प्रोजेक्ट्स बनते थे, पर आज के दिन में ऑफ कोर्स मल्टी टावर प्रोजेक्ट्स बनने लग गए हैं। तो पाइपलाइन में आज के दिन में समझिए हमारा लैंड बैंक that we have practically in the next 5 years we might be building about 2 crore square feet of construction. That is what is coming in pipeline. But real estate of course sometimes becomes slow. Sometimes government of course, you require sanctions, etc., etc. But because the sector is growing, we are very bullish on the sector. Because the sector is growing, कोविड आने के चक्कर में लोगों को समझ में आया कि बड़े घर चाहिए because space is becoming constrained. So, having said that, of course, this is what we would like to build. But of course, our main idea is to ensure that every family that we want to touch has a lot of family time together with their family, and the whole group wants to design products that will enhance their family time.
Right. Super. So thank you so much for telling that. Now my next question to you: who is the inspiration behind so many big projects? Who is your mentor, or who is the person who has taught you so many things in real estate? We want to know about him.
The first important thing when I was a child, I've always been taught that books are your best friend. If you read books of from Mark Twain and Enid Blyton when I was a child, to Trump, or to Peter Flinch, or to as much as say I today have not less than 10,000 books in my own house. I read maybe in a month, I at least try to read 15-17 books every month. Anything that comes, whether I'm reading or my dad is reading, of course, keep talking about certain concept, because every book will have one very very important concept. आज के दिन में अगर मैं वॉरेन बफे से मिलना चाहूँ, जो बर्कशायर हाथवे के ओनर है, one of the billionaires of the world right now, मुझे मिलना बड़ा टफ है उनसे, क्योंकि वो रहते हैं यूएस, मैं रहता हूँ इंडिया. और आज के दिन में अगर उनकी किताबें मैं पढ़ लूंगा तो उनके आइडियाज मेरे पास आ जाएंगे. So most important thing is that what I feel that what I am today is because of these books that I've read or the people I've met. And I think that a lot of inspiration has come from maybe Rich Dad Poor Dad, or The Richest Man in Babylon, or lots of books of Trump, or I can go on to tell you about so many books that I've read in the past. But when you read something now, it in my mind at least, it inspires us so much that if you're right now in the finance department, or you're working in the HR department, there are so many new things that have come. Today, मैं जब एक HR के बारे में पढ़ रहा था, of course, I found out about Great Place to Work, which is a large organization today. Of course, now we are also certified as a great place to work as the organization. Which means that you must understand what is the pulse of your people. You must understand whether your people are happy. If you keep your people happy, I'm sure that they will keep your organization happy. And if your people are happy, I'm sure that they will also ensure your customers are happy. So these ideas, how do they come to you? These ideas either हम लोग कुछ जब हम लोग when we are born, of course, we don't learn anything. We are what we read, and we are the kind of people we meet. आज के दिन में आज एक बोलते हैं ना कि birds of a feather flock together. वो क्यों बोलते हैं? अगर आपकी संगत जो है, वो संगत अगर क्रुक्स के साथ है, तो आप ऐसे ही बन जाओगे. आप कैसे भी हो, they will rub off on you. If आपकी संगत अगर बहुत बढ़िया है, आप ऐसे ही बन जाओगे 100%. So आज के दिन में आपकी संगत अगर ठीक है, there is no way people can stop you to grow as a person or to grow your organization. So that is what I feel that my main inspiration, of course, is my dad, because he's an avid reader, and I know his inspiration comes from all the books that he reads, and of course my inspiration also comes in similar way.
Superb. Thank you so much. And from now onwards, I'll promise you that you are an inspiration for so many people in real estate industry, because the kind of thing what you have told us, reading 15 books a month, having 10,000 plus books. See, in India, I'll bet on this that only 0.5% people believe on this, that reading can make you a better person. Having a good crowd with you or people with you in your surrounding can change your entire life. They learn and they heard from so many people, but they don't implement this.
Correct.
So this is what I have seen in you, that I have taken so many interviews, but I have I can say that we don't see this very often, that people were, especially real estate CEOs, were such a good reader, a regular reader. Now, I'll come to our next question. How many people are working with PS Group right now? Full-time employees, vendors and laborers, if a rough figure.
So currently we have a team strength of about 550 people that work in PS Group per se. But you know, most of at the sites, most of the things are outsourced to contractors.
Yes.
So if you really combine everybody, we have maybe about 4,000 workers right now working at the sites.
Super.
And we have about 550 people that are working in the organization as far as the head office goes. And then there are engineers, etc., at the site and all that. So of course the team is large, but of course 50 lakh square feet without this kind of team strength, we will never be able to deliver, because we really want to finish our projects. हम लोग एक प्रोजेक्ट लेते हैं, अगर 10 लाख स्क्वायर फीट का भी प्रोजेक्ट है तो भी हम लोग ट्राई करते हैं 4 साल में कंप्लीट कर दो, और अगर हम लोग 5 लाख स्क्वायर फीट का भी प्रोजेक्ट होता है तो भी हम लोग चाहते हैं कि 3.5 साल में कंप्लीट कर दो. Our target is to complete every project between 3 to 4 years, because that is what in my mind we bring to the table for our consumers.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing that. The reason why I've asked so many things to you related with your team and the total number of people working with you, I want to tell my audience, दोस्तों इस बात को समझिए. 550 से 600 फुल टाइम एम्प्लॉइज, बहुत सारे इंजीनियर्स, करीब 1000 से ज्यादा वेंडर्स होते हैं जब आप इतना बड़ा प्रोजेक्ट कर रहे होते हैं. इनडायरेक्ट करीब 2-4 हजार लोग जुड़े होते हैं, और 4000 से ज्यादा लेबर्स, मतलब 5 से 7 हजार 10 हजार लोगों तक एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेट करना ये इसलिए पॉसिबल है बिकॉज आफ्टर एग्रीकल्चर, इफ देयर इज एनी सेक्टर व्हिच कैन जनरेट मैक्सिमम एम्प्लॉयमेंट इन इंडिया, इज second sector is a real estate sector, and that is the power of real estate sector. My question to you is, what is the leadership strategy behind all this, behind running such a huge organization? What is your leadership mantra?
So of course, currently what really happens to the organization is that any land parcel or any deal that is available in the market today, of course, for sure comes to us, for sure, whether we refuse or we take. The idea, of course, is to, of course, analyze the deal to understand whether there is enough. So normally we do, most of the projects that we are doing is joint venture, which means that the landowner brings the land, we bring in our capability to construct, to sell, etc., and it's a partnership. In partnership, you have to understand that कुछ पार्टनर अच्छे होते हैं, कुछ पार्टनर ठीक होते हैं, कुछ पार्टनर खराब भी हो सकते हैं. You have to run with them today. You have to ensure that हमारे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में क्या होता है कि हम हर पार्टनर को उसी तरह ट्रीट करते हैं कि भैया हम लोग को अगर उनको, इफ यू हैव टू सेंड सम एमआईएस रिपोर्ट एवरी मंथ, देन दैट शुड बी सेंड. इफ यू हैव टू सेंड सम पिक्चर्स टू देम दैट व्हाट इज द प्रोग्रेस ऑफ द कंस्ट्रक्शन, हाउ वी विल कंप्लीट, व्हेन वी विल कंप्लीट, etc. whether these landowners are there, or maybe our lawyers are there, or our brokers are there, etc. In an organization, if you want to grow an organization, you must have the right partners.
Right.
Second aspect of our business, I think, is that why also I think we are successful is that we have a great design team. We have about 10 to 12 architects that work with us in-house, and we work with the best of the architects. We work with architects from US, from Singapore, etc. The design of a building is, in my mind, the most important aspect of any good project. If you're not right with the design, or you don't understand, वहाँ पे 2 bedroom या 3 bedroom या 5 bedroom या 6 bedroom, 5,000 square feet apartment, 10,000 square feet or 1,500 square feet, you must understand the pulse of that micro market. If you don't understand the pulse of the micro market, you will for sure go wrong. So of course, understanding the pulse of the market, understanding your landowner, understanding किस टाइप का डिजाइन बनाए, एफिशिएंट कैसे डिजाइन बनाए, etc. And then of course execution timelines. In my mind, our most important strength of the organization is design. Subsequently, our most important strength is sales, because at the end of the day, if you keep delivering on your promises, customers will sure come back. And if you're able to sell properly, then of course construction bit, of course, if you have a great team to manage, of course we of course have project managers from LLG or Shapuji, etc., where they have maybe delivered certain projects, etc. To have the right talent, to hire the right talent, even if you're paying top dollar or top money to them, is important, because you, at the end of the day, if you're promising or committing your customers that कि हम 3 साल में बना देंगे, 4 साल में बना देंगे. आज के दिन में सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम रियल एस्टेट का है कि लोग कमिट तो कुछ भी कर देते हैं, टाइम पे कभी प्रोजेक्ट कंप्लीट नहीं होता है. आज के दिन में रेरा आने का रीजन यही है कि 90% ऑफ द प्रोजेक्ट, वेदर इन एनसीआर, दिल्ली, गुड़गांव, बॉम्बे, सब 90% ऑफ द प्रोजेक्ट डिले. मतलब दैट इज द मोस्ट और सबसे ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम होता है फिर कंज्यूमर का कि भैया उनका तो रुपया लग जाता है, उन लोगों ने बैंक लोन ले लिए होते हैं, उनका ईएमआई चालू हो जाता है, उनका इंटरेस्ट लग रहा होता है। आज के दिन में टिल द टाइम यू डोंट अंडरस्टैंड द प्रॉब्लम ऑफ द कस्टमर कि आपने अगर कमिट किया मैं 3 साल में बना दूंगा या 4 साल में बना दूंगा, आपको 4 साल कमिट करो तो 3.5 में बना दो, 3 करो तो 2.5 साल में बना दो, तब आपके साथ आपके कस्टमर जुड़े हुए रहेंगे, तभी आपको रेफर करेंगे। तो एट द एंड ऑफ द डे if you keep your promises, there is no reason why you can't grow as an organization. Right. So whether it's land or whether it's to understand what kind of product design is required, or whether it's to do efficient designing, and then of course doing the construction properly. These are the aspects of course any organization. But you know, लोग भटक जाते हैं हमको लगता है, या somehow or the other, if you don't, मतलब एक बार हो सकता है कि you can take people for a ride, but of course if you want to be a long-term sustainable developer of real estate, you must stick to your promises. And I think that's one of our key mantras. कि अगर मैंने बोल दिया, मैंने अगर लैंडलॉर्ड को बोल दिया कि मैं ये करूंगा, मैं इतने परसेंटेज दूंगा, मैं ये करूंगा, we never go back, we never renegotiate, etc. We don't do all these things. We will stick by. I'll tell you a story. So I met one landlord. I was negotiating with him maybe about 20 years back. We struck a deal, and he was an architect also. So I did the building, etc. Subsequently, वो landlord आया मेरे ऑफिस में, मेरा मूड इतना अच्छा नहीं था, तो लैंडलॉर्ड ने मुझे पूछा कि क्या हो गया भैया। मैंने कहा कि यार आपके प्रोजेक्ट में सर आई हैव नॉट मेड एनी प्रॉफिट। तो वो आर्किटेक्ट बोलता है मुझे भी यही लग रहा है, मुझे मालूम है स्टील का प्राइस क्या है, मुझे मालूम है सीमेंट का प्राइस क्या है, मुझे सब मालूम है, मुझे मालूम है कि आपने कितने में सारे फ्लैट बेचे हैं, मुझे लग रहा है कि आप हाउ डिड यू मेक एनी प्रॉफिट। आई सेड कि हाँ सर, इसीलिए मतलब वी डिडंट मेक ऑन एनी प्रॉफिट, वी थॉट वी विल बी एबल टू कट लिटिल बिट ऑफ, मतलब आवर कॉस्ट विल बी अ लिटिल लोअर, और वी विल बी एबल टू इंक्रीज द सेल प्राइस, वी हैव नॉट बीन एबल टू डू एक्सेट्रा। तो बिकॉज ऑफ आवर रिलेशनशिप लैंडलॉर्ड ने मुझे कहा कि देख प्रशांत, एक वो फ्लैट मेरा बाकी है, एक काम करो, तुम ये फ्लैट बेच दो और वो रुपया तुम रख लो, और मेरी वाइफ को मत बताना, क्योंकि मेरी वाइफ मेरे को बोलेगी कि आपने ये क्यों कर दिया। मतलब व्हेन यू कीप ग्रेट रिलेशनशिप विद पीपल, दे विल हैव योर बैक फॉर श्योर। मतलब एट द एंड ऑफ द डे, if you are good with them, they will always be good with you. If you try to backstab them, you want to do something etc, बीच में करेंगे आप, तो लैंडलॉर्ड भी बोलेगा अच्छा आपने ये क्या, मैं आपके साथ ऐसे करूंगा। अगर you are true to yourself, I'm sure help will be available. So these examples of course tell us that कि बॉस हमने जो कमिट किया करते जाएं, 100% अच्छा ही होने वाला। अगर कुछ नहीं होगा अच्छा, तो अगर किसी को बोलेंगे कि मेरा ये प्रॉब्लम है, वो प्रॉब्लम 100% वो सामने वाला भी समझेगा।
बिल्कुल।
So mantra is of course keep to your promises and deliver what you promise to your customer, to your landlord, to your whoever, to your banker, to your financer, etc, to all the stakeholders that you've done or that you've promised.
Superb. Thank you so much. Keep your promises and follow your commitments. Superb. Thank you so much for telling that. Now I'll talk about personal leadership. It is said that the energy of leader is equal to the energy of the team. What you do to maintain your energy level at a peak? What is the success ritual or a morning ritual you follow as a director, so that you can take along all your company members with you, and beside this hectic schedule, beside so many people working, how you maintain your temperament, your cool? What is your personal leadership mantra?
So you know, the first thing that I've learned, so I read a book called The Compound Effect long time back, and from that what I really did understand that whatever you do in life, it compounds. So every small bit that you do, it'll have a compounding effect in the next 20 years time.
Right.
Per se, what I decided then subsequently that I must get up very early. So nowadays I get up at 5 o'clock every day. The reason why I've been able to read so many books is that because I get up so early, and then I will spend maybe 1 hour reading whatever book I'm reading, or 2 books, etc, and of course simultaneously read a couple of books together. Then of course I go for my morning walk, or I go for my swim, or I go for my cycling, or I go to the gym, etc. And so 1 hour of workout, and by the time after all these things are complete, of course I will spend maybe an hour with my children, etc. before they've going off to school. And then of course you come back to office. That morning time is a time to think. That morning time is a time to really meditate. the morning time is really to think about if so certain times, certain things you've been thinking in your mind about a certain deal or a certain problem that you might be facing in the organization, and somehow or the other, that morning time when you're introspecting, answers come to you. So morning time is so important in my mind, that if you're not doing that, if you're not getting inspired in the morning, and these books of course either inspire you, a problem if you're discussing with certain, and of course when you're going for a morning walk, of course you're going with like-minded people who are in business, etc. And I of course have a group who will of course be there at 5, 6, 6:30, etc., who are either with me, who are there to swim, etc., and you're discussing certain points, etc. But that's the morning routine, of course. Then normal office takes over, and point that we normally in the organization do is there are maybe about below me, maybe about 10 leaders are there. Of course, they are taking care of individual, whether there's a sales head or there's post sales head or there's construction head, etc. Of course, your meetings are either if you're reviewing a project or reviewing a new deal or doing whatever be the case. But that is your normal. But I think that if you are able to take out time for yourself for introspection, if you are able to take out time for yourself, and early morning is the best time because it's very peaceful. And when you every day, when you read something, you get inspired. If you're reading about HR, you want to implement something new. When you're reading about construction, you're reading about finance, etc. If you're reading about something new, or whatever be the case, of course you would want to then come back and do certain things in the organization per se. Right. So every day is a new day, and when you do new things in life, you're automatically, your energy level is very high. If you're doing the same standard thing, your energy level will keep going down. I'm sure, Dr. Amol, because you're doing you have three businesses. Your inspiration right now is maybe because you're doing something, you're so excited. As soon as you're not doing something new, you're doing something old, slackness comes over. You might not be inspired at all. So in my mind, I get inspired every day, and every day is a new day.
Thank you so much for sharing that in detail. So thank you so much. My next question is, how you inspire your team?
So in our organization, we have something called skip level meetings. I normally try to meet everybody in the organization in 1 year time. So say per se, I have say about maybe 40 junior engineers maybe at various sites. So I don't call the project manager, I don't call the senior engineers, I call only the junior engineers, because for me to connect with them also very important, because they are the heart of the organization right now. Right. They really know what is happening at the sites. They also know what is the problem that is happening in the site. And small things that somehow or the other, they've communicated to the project manager, but somehow or the other it never gets to me for whatever reason, etc. But that small things make such a huge difference for these junior people at the end of the day. When you connect with them on a personal level, and they know that the big boss is behind them, they also have that kind of energy कि boss अब तो मतलब अगर boss बोल रहा है कि ये project को इतने timeline में, because you have that one-on-one rapport with them, they get and you also of course feel that अगर आपको किसी को शाबाशी देना है तो आप उसको सबके सामने दो. Sometimes you have to shout at people also. Sometimes you get also people, because certain times some work is not getting. If you want to talk to them, it must be closed doors. Nobody should hear, because at the end of the day, they also have a level. They also have some respect in the organization. Right. But at the end of the day, when you want to tell them that, boss, you are doing a great job, you must tell in front of 20 people, and you see the level of commitment they will give to the organization. And I've seen that sometimes people shout at people in front of 20 people, and then that they get so demotivated, they get so not inspired. They really want to subsequently say, boss, of course they are doing good for the organization. Of course, when people do certain things, so मैं ये बोलता हूँ सबको कि जो काम करता है वही गलती करता है, जो काम ही नहीं करेगा वो गलती नहीं करेगा. अगर मैं 10 चीज कर रहा हूँ तो मैं हो सकता है 2 चीज गलती कर सकता हूँ, और जो 2 गलती करते हैं वही सबसे पहले सामने आता है. जो उसने 8 चीज अच्छी की वो सामने आता नहीं है किसी के साथ. Right. So whether my team or my pillars of the organization. I tell them, किसी को शाबाशी देना है तो मेरे सामने आके बोलो कि बॉस इसने इतना, they have done such a good job. और किसी को अगर तुमको if you want to really tell them that if you're not doing a great job, or this is where you have to work on, you must do it in closures. You should not, other people should not know, because they, at the end of the day, will do this, lose respect in the organization. So these are certain things we of course follow meticulously in the organization. So if I hear anybody if they are shouting at the top of the voice, or they are screaming at somebody, because these things happen in organizations,
right?
And you know that if something is, you must stop certain things. Also, what we also promote that, so I don't know whether you know about Navy SEALs. You must know about Navy SEALs, right?
Yes.
So Navy SEALs are the top on the top of the top people.
Right.
Now, how do you judge? How do people get into Navy SEALs? So if you understand how people get, if you draw at one place trust and the other place productivity, you will always hire high trust, high productivity people, which is the top, which you always want, that kind of. But you know, all the people are not high trust, high productivity.
Yes.
There are certain people who are middle productivity. There are people who are middle trust, and there are people high productivity but low trust. Right. I always tell my team that if you have to hire people, you must hire people who have high trust, maybe middle productivity, than to hire somebody high productivity and low trust. Because these people become gangrene in the organization. They will do politics in the organization. They will say one thing to somebody, one thing to somebody else. They will disturb the whole organization. So it is very important when you are hiring, when you are picking up people, you must, and when you are looking at people also, you must ensure that you can trust them. After that, everything will flow. So when I say that we would want to be the most trusted developer, is also because I would want to people whom I can trust, because these are the people who will either communicate with the customer, communicate with the vendor, communicate with everybody. And if you don't have trustful people, only productivity. आजकल में होता है कि बहुत बढ़िया आदमी बहुत अच्छा काम करता है, पर politics करता रहता है organization. If I find out that if somebody is doing politics and I really get to that, I will ask them to go. I don't like these kind of people. I don't want them in the organization, because I know I might. These are all short-term goals which we will feel that कि very good productivity बहुत high रख लेते हैं, long term में आपका organization suffer करेगा. So of course these key things, of course we keep in mind whenever either we are hiring, and of course if the boss thinks like that, your generals will start thinking like that. If your generals start thinking like that, the down below people will start thinking like that. Right. It always comes from the top. If you're a crook, you will always hire crooks in your team. Right. You will think that कि boss, I will only hire trustworthy people. I will only hire people who will have my back. 100% will go down in the same way. So these are certain things that you of course follow in the organization.
Superb. I want to tell my audience that this is one of the best answer. Listen to this answer twice if you really want to grow your real estate business in your city, in your state, in your country, because the kind of depth what Mr. Prashant had told us in this entire answer is something that can change the entire paradigm of working. Hire people with high trust, even if they have low or middle productivity, it's okay. But they'll help you, they'll back you, even in every situation. Superb thing, sir. Thank you so much for telling that. Now we'll move towards in real estate. We have certain national problems comes, or a global problem like Corona comes into picture sometimes, when we have certain national, certain local rules like RERA comes into existence, when we have a GST when comes, or when Nodebandi comes. How do you tackle with all this situation? How your group perform? Tell us that.
Importantly, of course, when Corona came, when lockdown happened, everybody knows that all organizations were suffering. Having said that, if you have these kind of people whom you can trust completely, who understand the organization, all organization goes through certain phases. It's not that all organization is never a straight line. It is always sometimes it's going up, sometimes it is going down, etc. But if you have the right team, I'm sure that at the end of the day, there is always light at the end of the tunnel. So whether it's Notebandi, whether it's Corona, whether it's GST, if you have the right set of people, if you have the right set of advisors, if you have the right consultants on board, etc., I'm sure that there is no way. Of course, there'll be certain certain problems that will come in the organization. So that be said. But first 3 months, of course, for Corona was of course everybody was stressed when we will start our construction. What is going to happen to the customers, whether they would want to buy, whether they will not want to buy, what is going to happen, etc., etc. But at the end of the day, मेरा जो होगा वही सबका होगा, और जो सबका होगा उससे बेटर ही होगा मेरा. अगर मैं इसमें बिलीव करता हूँ कि इतने सारे रियल एस्टेट प्लेयर्स हैं, जो उनका होगा वही मेरा होने वाला है, तो मेरे को स्ट्रेस लेके तो कुछ करना नहीं है. और मेरे को ये मालूम है कि जो उनका होगा उससे मेरा 100% उससे बेटर ही होने वाला है मेरा. मतलब I'll be 100% better off than what they'll be. So if you have faith in your, whether it's your landlord, if you have faith in your customers who bought, etc., if you have faith in your vendors, that vendors of course have supplied, if cash flows are not coming to the organization because it's locked down and customers are not paying, you have to understand the problem of the customer also. उसकी salary नहीं मिल रही है, या उसके organization में क्या हो रहा है. If you understand, I'm sure your customers will also understand, your vendors will also understand, your landlord will also understand, everybody will understand. And what we've understood, that everybody has understood. When all these things happen, everybody was in our support. That there is no, because you will take debt also when you're doing large transactions, when you're doing large projects. Of course, your banks also, you would have taken construction debt, etc., etc. But you know that if they feel that you've been true to everything that I'm saying right now, they will all have your back. So at least we did not face too much of challenge, whether it was Notebandi or whether it was Corona, etc., etc. Because if you work with the right kind of people, you will 100% see it through. So of course, there were certain, of course, vibrations, etc., in the organization, but more or less we were good. We did not face too much problems.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for telling that. You have read so many books. My simple question to you: top 1 or 2 books what you have liked and you have learned a lot from those books. Name of 1 or 2 books.
So the recent one that I was telling you was Compound Effect. The Compound Effect books talks about really that anything that you do small will have a 20-year timeline. So per se, if you smoke a cigarette, right. So today you might not feel anything. Today you're smoking 1 cigarette, you're thinking that it's all right. But in 20 years time, everybody knows what happens to people who smoke. Vis-a-vis, if you exercise per se, even if you're doing for half an hour, you will understand that in 20 years time, what effect it will have on your body per se. Anything that you do, the smallest of thing, if you spend time with your children, half an hour also or 1 hour also, in a 20-year lifespan, if you're getting the right things, because when you're talking to your children, you will of course want them to, you will tell good things only, कि पढ़ाई करना चाहिए, या चलो मैं बैठ के चलो तुम्हारे साथ मैच करता हूँ, etc. If you inculcate the right things for your children, for yourself, in a 20-year horizon, anything good will have a great effect, anything bad will have a very, very long effect. And so the example that if you have a snowball per se, snowball धीरे धीरे बढ़ता जाता है और उसके बाद वो avalanche बन जाता है. आज के दिन में हम लोग जब 1 प्रोजेक्ट करते थे, 2 प्रोजेक्ट करते थे, 1 लाख स्क्वायर फीट 1 साल में करते थे, आज के दिन में धीरे करके 50 लाख स्क्वायर फीट का काम कर रहे हैं. धीरे प्रोग्रेशन हुआ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का भी. ऐसा नहीं है कि एक दिन में हम लोग ने चालू किया और ऑर्गेनाइजेशन यहाँ पे पहुंच गया है. सो एनीथिंग यू do for the organization, smallest of things will have a very large impact in the long run. So that's one of the books, of course, I've read. Of course, so one of the books that I keep gifting is also Robert Kiyosaki ka Rich Dad Poor Dad, which talks about really about asset and liability, whether car is an asset in your books, whether always you will feel that car is an asset, but you normally car always depreciate, doesn't give you money. A real estate always appreciates, even though it is sitting. A business always appreciates, etc., etc. So these books I've read in so whatever is coming to mind, I'm telling you right now. But in the long run, whether if you read Trump, how he structured his deals, if you get inspired by them, if you are into stock market, so I don't know whether somebody's read Peter Flinch. He was he gave return in 15 years, compounding return in the stock market. He gave 29% return year on year. So, but when you read certain things, and if you get inspired by certain writers, you must try to inculcate them in your own life per se. So these books have had, so also per se, if you read The Richest Man of Babylon, which talks about how, what is money, how you will take care, then so matlab, there are innumerable books really I can talk about. These, whatever is coming to top of mind, I'm telling you right now, because whatever I'm reading, whatever I read and have really inspired me, these are the books. And I think that recently the book that I read has inspired me so much, and I think it's a must. You guys, whoever is listening to this story, must read a book. I'm sure that you will get inspired and you want to really change your lifestyle, change your habit. If you're understanding that because the smallest of things will have such a large impact, I'm sure that you will change your habits to the better and not to the worst.
Super. Thank you so much for sharing that, sir. Now we'll move towards certain departments of real estate industry. According to you, what role marketing plays in real estate business and how you do marketing in your business right now?
So most important part in real estate is brand. From which brand in my mind people are buying right now. So for per se, I'll give you an example of iPhone. Today, Apple as a brand is such a strong brand right now that whatever Apple brings out, whether you will see Mac as a computer, or you will see iPhone as a phone, or you will see iPod, or you will see other things, whatever they've brought in. People are buying these products because they have so much trust in the brand right now. So as far as if to communicate first to the market right now of what your brand stands for, what your brand really does, whether you're doing green building or doing great, or you're doing efficient plans, or you're doing etc., whatever be the case, your market must know what is your brand stand for.
Right.
Subsequently, of course, the product comes. Today, first is brand, then is the product. Of course, the product will sell. First, आज के दिन में हम लोग जब किसी को कोई भी फ्लैट बेचते हैं, तो हम लोग तो जमीन दिखाते हैं उनको, बिल्डिंग तो चालू हो रही होती है कंस्ट्रक्शन में, तो उनको क्या मिलेगा, उनको तो 3 साल के बाद मिलेगा जो मिलने वाला है. आज के दिन में why they buy today from you is only because of a brand pull. If your brand pull is strong, 100% people will buy from you. After that, of course, everything will come after that, whether you have a great design, whether you have facilities, whether you have amenities, whether you have all the other design aspects. Of course, those of course you need to take care. But in my mind, the most important part of any organization per se must be the brand. How people perceive your brand, what people think about your brand, and subsequently what people think about the product, and then subsequently the other things, of course, quality क्या दे रहे हैं आप, किस टाइप का क्या amenities बना रहे हैं आप, उसको टेनिस कोर्ट बना रहे हैं आप, गोल्फ कोर्स बना रहे हैं. All these things of course matter today. Why today DLF is DLF? Because at the end of the day, आज के दिन में अगर कोई भी गुड़गांव में कोई भी चीज, if you really want to buy, I think that people will go to DLF first, and then they will go to. There are great developers in Gurgaon and Delhi also, but in my mind, I think DLF is one of the top developers right now, and I think the only reason why it is what it is because what they've done in the past, and because they have such a big brand pull to them. So in my mind, of course, marketing is first, brand, and everything else will follow.
Thank you so much. Now we'll talk about sales, the backbone of this industry, backbone of every industry, but how your sales model work. Are your employees selling for you? Do you have channel partners working with you, or you have option A is employees selling, option B channel partners are selling the entire inventory, or option C there is a combination hybrid model of employee plus channel partner? What kind of sales model works in your company?
So of course, I think by far I have the best sales team in Calcutta, I feel. The reason why I can say that is when we are launching any project, 30% of the project we sold in the first 3 months of when we launch. Super. And the reason why projects are successful is because of the velocity of sales that we have in the organization.
Right.
So if you don't partner, so today we work with maybe about 100 consultants or maybe more consultants, of course. 50% or 40% of whatever stock we have is sold by our sales team. 30%, 35% of the stock is sold by our channel partners, and 20% is all through referral, or 25% is all through referral from our existing customers. And the reason why it is because a consultant really wants that key. If I've been true to your brand, of course my payment should come on time. They should get enough respect in the organization when they come to the organization. When they come with a customer, they should feel that we are approachable. If they have any problem, the bosses or the directors should also be approachable, etc. etc. That's the reason the consultant today also wants a lot of respect. If you don't respect, and I know that a lot of people that I have known that are great brands, but somehow or the other they've not been have the right channel partners, because at the end of the day I also feel that somewhere, even though product is there, they are paying on time, but they might not be. The consultants feel that respect is not there in the organization. If they are coming, they're not offered some coffee, tea, lunch, etc. etc. हमारे ऑफिस में अगर कोई आता है, हमारा तो घर से आता है खाना, हमारे ऑफिस में कोई भी आता है तो उसको बोलते हैं आजा खाना खाते हैं यार साथ में. हमारा यही कल्चर है ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में, क्योंकि अगर उसको अपना बना के रखोगे तो 100% वो आपका, he will have your back, he will ensure that कि boss, if I have to sell first, I will sell for PS2, I will not sell for any other brand. So that respect, I think, if they get here in the organization, of course they'll be happy to work for you. And our customers also same कि अगर रेफरल है तो उनके लिए रेफर क्यों करते हैं, क्योंकि उनको लगता है कि भैया अगर मैं जाके आज अगर ऋषभ को बोलूंगा, मेरे जो सेल्स हेड है को कुछ भी बात बोलूंगा, उसकी बात वो रख लेगा. अगर कोई भी बात है, मतलब अगर कस्टमर का, अगर उससे रेफर किया और उसको कस्टमर कोई प्रॉब्लम फेस कर रहा है, तो वो छोटा प्रॉब्लम होता है. अगर if they are heard, if you hear your customer properly, I'm sure that they will refer also, they will have your back also, they will sell for you also. So of course so answer your question, we sell through all channels. We sell directly also, we sell through our channel partners also, and we sell through our customers also.
Thank you so much for doing that. Now I'll move towards the next department. How you manage the operations? You are doing so many projects at a time, so many people working at different projects. How you manage it manually, automatically, software based? How your operations goes on, especially construction and all?
We have a lot of tools that we have. We have BIM 360 that we manage our drawings, etc., etc. All our consultants also have BIM 360. We have BIM 360. Currently, of course, we are in the phase of implementing SAP in the organization. So, of course, data flow will be easier in the organization, because SAP is a very robust system right now. Then we have certain tools to manage construction. There was a tool called Falcon Brick. I don't know whether you've heard of that tool. That tool is to ensure that at a project level, at a flat level, if anything, so the whole plan is divided into डोर फ्रेम लगेगा, उसके बाद पीओपी होगा, उसके बाद ये लगेगा एक्सेट्रा. और एक भी फ्लैट के अंदर अगर 10 दिन तक काम नहीं हुआ कुछ भी, तो वहां पे वो टूल रेड फ्लैग रेज कर देता है कि ये फ्लैट के अंदर 10 दिन से कुछ काम नहीं हुआ है. So sitting in the office, every project when we are reviewing, we know really what is the progress in the. Of course, if you're going to the site, of course the team keeps visiting, but you know that when you're visiting, if you have 10 towers or 15 towers in a project, एक tower के अंदर जाके देखना तो impossible. You must have those systems to really manage what is at what speed you are doing any construction. So we also monitor, of course, how many labors are there from which contractor, whether POP contractor or your carpenter, etc., etc. We also make a plan कि अगर 3 महीने में अगर समझे 5 लाख स्क्वायर फीट का टाइलिंग करना है, कितना लेबर चाहिए, कितना मेसन चाहिए, etc., etc. So everything is managed by tools only right now. If you don't have the right tools and you don't have the right system, it is impossible really.
It is impossible.
You might be able to do 1 project or 2 projects, but if you want to do large scale projects and you don't have the right systems and processes in place, it is impossible. You will get stuck, and that is the reason why projects get delayed. Because if sitting in the office, if you can't see what is happening at the sites at a granular level, you will not be able to manage. When you're talking to your project manager, you will understand ये फ्लैट में क्यों नहीं हो रहा है. Yes, so of course then it comes back कि लेबर नहीं है, या मटेरियल नहीं आया साइट पे, या परचेज टीम कोई वीक है, या वेंडर नहीं सप्लाई कर रहा है. Of course these problems come. So we review, of course, every month we review all the projects. So every week the team spends at least 1 day in reviewing projects, every project per se. So then you of course come to know what is happening in the project, and of course you will take those steps to really ensure that everything is happening.
Right. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for telling this. Now we'll move towards next department. What roles management play How important is the role of management in real estate business? Can you elaborate on that?
In my mind per se, if you are able to hire the right talent for your organization, if you are able to provide the right things to the organization, to the people, if you are able to ensure that अगर आप अच्छा काम कर रहे हो तो उसको शाबाशी दे पा रहे हो, if these things are taken care of, your team will take care of everything else. So in my mind, the most important thing is the right talent in the organization. Right talent also in terms of whether you trust them, right talent also in terms of what is their productivity, whether they are high productivity and high trustworthy. So if you're taking care of these basic things, I have no two things to really say. Really, after a point of time, your team drives your organization. You single-handedly, you can't do everything. So you have to have the right HR processes, you have to have the right construction processes, you have to have the right project managers, you have to have the right purchase heads, etc., etc. If you're able to create the right talent and the right team, I don't see any challenge. Today, if you say that 50 lakh, can you really go to 1 crore square feet? Can you deliver? Other than sanction and government, etc., which of course take their own sweet time, I don't see any challenge that whether we'll be able to. I'm sure we'll be able to do it.
Right. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Now we'll move towards one most important department. I think that which will play a very big game changer role. And I'm talking about training and development. In the last 15 years, we are working with more than 100 corporate companies in training and coaching. In the last 7-8 years, we are working with builders, developers, marketing agencies, investors. And we have seen 2x, 5x, 10x growth with our clients. When we have implemented system tools with them, we do one-to-one coaching with them. We handhold them for making systems in their company. 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, we work with the company to give results. What kind of impact or role of training and coaching and training and development is there in real estate industry? I want to know about that.
So in my mind, it's one of the most important things. So today there is a concept called Gyan Kshetra in our organization where we every second Saturday we have training programs. Whether they are so you normally today we have a 5-6 people team in the organization who do quality audits of all our sites. These quality audits are done every month of all the sites. So of course there are a lot of learning that happens when you're doing a quality audit. A lot of things will come out of any site. Every second Saturday we have training programs for either a junior engineer, supervisor, senior engineer, project manager, etc., as far as how to improve quality, how to improve timeline, etc. So once you start building on the training platform, of course we have training on Excel skills also certain times. We have training on we of course one time we had called certain people from Great Place to Work to really give certain training. So we have some certain times outside trainers are coming, certain times of course our own in-house people are training, etc. In my mind, it is one of the most important aspects of our business because at the end of the day, quality till the time you don't, because you keep hiring new people in the organization. If you don't really train them, if you don't really tell them what our organization stands for and what we expect from them, if we are able to tell them clearly that what the organization stands for and what kind of quality as far as construction goes, or what kind of quality we would want so per se in the post sales team today, when we are hearing how people are talking, etc. So there is quality audit happening when our relationship managers are talking to our customers, and if we feel that, and somebody is of course listening to these calls, and if we feel that something is amiss or something is not being told or something is not being done, we of course we take this as examples. And then subsequently we start go backward, and then we train the whole team that this was a miss or that was a miss, etc. So per se, it is very important. Of course, I also want to add that we also right now we also run a college called iLead, and we have a real estate program in iLead right now. And of course, we normally send these people also to these training programs. So this is per se a 3-year program because it's BSc in real estate per se. But they also have 3-month program, 6-month program, etc. So we keep sending our people to these training programs to really so that they can learn some because everything, lots of things keep changing. Your new tools keep coming. Construction, some new construction tool has come or some new activity has come, etc.
Right.
So if you're not doing these training, of course you'll be left behind. Today, if most of the projects we use Maiwan. Why we do Maiwan is only because the quality is much better, finishing is much better, timeline is much better. Even though it's a little more expensive way to build any product, but I think that if you are able to do great quality work, and of course now most of the project, the IRAs are at least in our companies all done by Maiwan technology. So of course. It was not on one day that we decided. Of course, we got trained. We got some people from outside. They trained our team, etc., and then we started doing all this. So to answer your question, it is very important. It must be part and parcel of any organization who really want to grow in the long run.
Right. Thank you. So thank you so much for telling such a wonderful thing in detail. Now, according to you, what are the opportunities and challenges in real estate industry in the upcoming few years, and especially when you talk about Indian market?
I personally feel that next 10-15 years is India's story. I am so bullish on whether it's real estate or whether it's any other organization. I think that in my mind, India has arrived. If India has arrived, I think there'll be a lot of opportunities that are going to come, whether in real estate, whether in any other, whether you're mining or whether it's any. Of course, IT is booming right now. There's a lot of work coming in the IT space also. Right. When people will become so of course salaries are also increasing. At the end of the day, real estate is the place where everybody at least inspires to have their own house. Every professional inspires to have their own office. Every person who's earning or who's earning anything at least inspires. अब of course उसके lifestyle में depend करेगा कि वो कब खरीदेगा, etc. तो I personally feel that it is our golden era right now. Next 15-20 years will be golden era for anybody who's able to sustain themselves, who's been able to deliver whatever they have promised. I think there is no way that, and we've faced so many challenges. We've faced Corona, we've faced Notebandi, we've faced GST, then first 12%, then 5%, then something else, etc. After all these challenges also, if now somebody is standing in real estate, the only place is up. There is no other place.
Right. Thank you so much for telling that. My next question to you, what is the final advice for real estate entrepreneur? What is the success mantra in real estate? 2-3 lines from your end. What is the success mantra in real estate?
Most important. So I know why most of the real estate people failed. And that was because they took too much of debt. They bought certain things and subsequently either they got stuck because of some government licensing or from other things, etc. Or they were not being able to sell their product. Most important thing is to ensure that you understand that what kind of financing that you really want, what kind of partner you really want in the organization. You must ensure that if you're taking any kind of debt in your organization, you must have a healthy balance sheet. You must ensure that whether you have a debt equity ratio of 1:1 or 1:0.5, etc., depending on your risk appetite, etc. But if you go wrong with your finances, there is nobody can save you. So in my mind, the most important mantra of any real estate company is to ensure that you have a great healthy balance sheet. You must not do more than what you feel that you will be able to digest. If you want to eat an apple, if you take small bites, you will be able to eat it. You put the whole apple in your mouth, you will choke. This is what has happened to most of the developers, whether in Calcutta or in any other place, where they've taken one project, they've taken some debt from that project. Subsequently, from that debt they bought some other project. They've taken again debt, etc. One project failing will ensure that all the projects fail. Then, so you must in our mind per se, when we are doing any project, all the cash flows of the project only goes to that project. We never transfer one project ka cash flow to another project ka cash flow because it is a cardinal rule. If as soon as you start doing that, you at one point of time you will understand that boss ki khatam ho gaye ho aap. So
Right.
in my mind, you must ensure that you take care of your debt equity. You must ensure that you understand cash flows properly. You must understand these important aspects of your business. And if you're able to do that, and I'm sure that you will be successful. Of course, other things are important. Brand building is important. Being true to yourself is important. Being true to your consumers are important. But if you go wrong in your finances, you're doomed for failure. That's all I can really say.
Thank you. Thank you so much for telling such a wonderful answer in detail. The last question to you is any advice for marketing agencies and channel partners or advisors? How to select a better project? How to select a project where they feel safe? Tell about that.
If in my mind a brand is delivered again and again and again, any consultant who's working, a not so known developer might offer you much higher percentages, etc., etc. Subsequently, the consumer is buying because the consultant is giving him advice. The consumer might not know so much as the real estate professional knows. Today, real estate professional really knows which brand has what strength, which brand has great cash flow, which brand is doing what, etc., etc. If you are pitching something to your customer, you must understand that the first most important point is what kind of brand I'm putting in the money, whether my money is safe or not, whether even if it is a little higher price, I would say that by today, Reliance is what Reliance is. By today, so in the stock market, why you will want to bet not on a penny stock is if you want to bet on a blue chip. It's the same thing for real estate also. You are putting your most hard-earned money, and you will do this maybe once in a lifetime. If you're doing that once in a lifetime, you must first understand what does the brand stands for. Then, of course, the product, and then, of course, everything else will follow, etc., etc. So, for any real estate professional, or for any consumer, or for anybody who wants to really buy, most important thing is first, सामने वाला आदमी कौन है, ट्रस्टवर्दी है या नहीं है. मैं हमेशा ये बोलता हूँ कि मैं I would rather partner with somebody whom I can trust than partner with somebody who will give me great profits. Because if I can't trust them, then profit is a byproduct. Otherwise, I know that when we work with great partners, in the long run we've been successful, and when we work with the wrong partners in great, when I've invested in whether startups I've invested or etc., I've given some money to some people. When we work with the wrong people, for sure, great profitable projects also go down. So of course, when you're selecting, you bet on the promoter, you bet on the brand, and then you do everything else. Right. So that is all. That's all I would really want to say to anybody who would want to buy any product or any real estate consultant also.
Thank you so much. At the end, I just want to say thank you so much. I'm thankful to your team members जिन्होंने बहुत सपोर्ट किया इंटरव्यू कंडक्ट करने में. I'm thankful to my team members जिन्होंने एज अ ब्रिज एक्ट किया ये इंटरव्यू हो सके. I'm thankful to you इतना कीमती समय देकर आपने रियल एस्टेट गेम चेंजर सीरीज को 1 घंटे से भी ज्यादा दिए, अपने डीपर से डीपर लेवल के आंसर्स दिए. उसके लिए मैं, मेरी पूरी टीम आपका तहे दिल से धन्यवाद करती है. अगर आप कुछ कहना चाहे इस पूरी सीरीज के बारे में, इस एक्सपीरियंस के बारे में, तो आप कह सकते हैं.
I had a wonderful experience, of course, talking to you. I hope that certain people who either would want to come into real estate or they are already into real estate, they benefit out of if they are listening to you. I'm happy. If they really want to reach out to me, I'm sure that if you really would want to give my number or my or the team's number, I would be happy really if they want some consultation, etc., etc. मतलब at the end of the day, हमको ये लगता है अगर वो आएंगे, हमेशा ये होता है कि मेरे को लगता है कि मैं भी उनसे कुछ सीखूंगा. अगर मैं उनको कुछ सिखाऊंगा, उनका भी बहुत सारे एक्सपीरियंसेस होंगे, वो मुझे कुछ बताएंगे तो मैं भी कुछ सीखने वाला हूँ. And if some people are listening to you and listening to all what we are discussing right now, which means that he's a learner, he really wants to learn certain things. If he gets inspired by certain things, I would want to also get inspired by them. So I'm happy that I am part of this discussion today, and I am happy that once you're done with it, I would really want to hear all the other people what they've said in your, because you've interviewed so many people. I would want to hear all of them to really understand that what I can pick up from them.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you.